Welcome back to Weekend Prime. Now, thousands of people, children and adults, turned out for this year's edition of the Mata Heart Run across different parts of the country. Last year's Heart Run raised 88 million shillings, funds that were channeled to help children with various heart diseases. Since its inception, more than 3,000 children have benefited from surgery and treatment of heart-related conditions across the country.
This year's Mata Heart Run might be the largest ever, with expansion to 8 more venues catering for participants from outside Nairobi city.
We've had the run in 9 different venues. Nairobi is where I've taken part in, and we expect that turnout was at least 40,000. We are hoping to do 400 operations, but that means we need to raise at least 200 million shillings.
Flagged off by Dr. Bernard Muya, the Nairobi County Executive Member for Health, the event is intended to benefit those at most need.
We have heart problems. The heart problems which normally occur when you are in the womb, and also heart problems occur after you are born. So this exercise is so crucial for those families who are unable to meet the cost of heart problems.
In attendance were previous beneficiaries of the Mata Heart Run. 17-year-old Kelvin Mwendwa, now in Class 8, is grateful that he can now continue with his education.
Nilioperatiwa mwezi wa 4 tarehe 11. Nilikuwa mgonjwa sana. Sikuwa naweza kukula, kutembea ama kulala. Nikikula natapika. Mamangu akanileta hapa Mata na akanisaidia.
Mwendwa's condition is explained by Professor Christine Joey, one of the cardiologists.
Mwendwa had a condition called rheumatic heart disease. This condition actually is caused by a sore throat. Just by simply not treating a sore throat, it can actually damage the heart.
For Grace Njogu, her 4-year-old daughter Minnie has a chance to grow like any other child. Raising a child with a heart condition is not easy.
When she's sick, just a whooping cough, anagojeka na hata anakuwa sasa temperature iko juu na hawezi akatembea. So it is difficult and it is very hard to raise a child with this problem. And what I can tell parents is that when you see your child is having this difficulty in breathing, tonsils, na homa ambayo iishi, you need to go and check whether it is this problem.
Professor Joey concurs with this, and parents are advised to be vigilant.
The presentations are variable, and sometimes they mimic other conditions. But a child who really cannot feed and finish a whole breastfeeding time, he gets tired and stops, or when he feeds, he starts sweating a lot and just leaves it. That kind of child, you should actually suspect something is wrong. A child who is just not growing, okay, when they are young, they eat, but they're just not growing. One of the things you should suspect is a heart problem.
Professor Joey has seen the Mata Heart Run grow from strength to strength.
Heart surgery, as you know, is very expensive. And initially, when we told a parent that he needs to have an open heart surgery, they would go sell their land, they would sell their cattle, they'll sell any other thing that they have in order to have the child operated, to raise money for these funds. And sometimes it was very disturbing.
Since the inception of the program, how many beneficiaries have you been able to assist?
In terms of assistance, there are of several cadres. There is the diagnostic aspect of it, which is called cardiac catheterization. There's also the cardiac catheterization treating patients. There's closed heart surgery, and there is open heart surgery.
More than 3,000 children have benefited from this. And finally, a healthy piece of advice.
Run with your whole heart, knowing that you are not only improving your own heart, but also changing the destiny of a family and restoring hope to a child.
Dr. Mercy Korir, KTN News, Nairobi.
Now, governors are accusing the government of withholding funds for the fourth quarter, forcing them to borrow 74.7 billion shillings from local banks. The Council of Governors is citing examples of counties such as Wajir, which is owed 2 billion shillings, Kakamega 3.2 billion shillings, and Kitui standing at 2.6 billion shillings.
Last 4 years, financial disagreements between the national and county governments have taken center stage. Notably, there have been conflicts on division of revenue, allocation of conditional grants, and development partner funds flow systems. This is because resources are key in the effective performance of county functions and the overall sustainability of county government's operations. To further illustrate the gravity of matters financed in this first regime of devolved governance, the Senate actually sought a Supreme Court advisory to clarify and pronounce the latter's role in division of revenue. And at the heart of any discourse on allocation of revenue is the National Treasury, the shared institution whose main role is to ensure that funds are released to both the national and county governments. This provision essentially offers financial protection to counties and secures county allocations as entitlements. Because this is an election year, the budgeting cycle for the 2017-18 financial year was revised and all government entities are expected to have finalized their budgets before the dissolution of Parliament and county assemblies. However, county governments have been unable to proceed since the Division of Revenue Bill is yet to be passed.
Why should we, for instance, be now tussling between the two houses about the Division of Revenue law? Yet we know very clearly, counties under Article 224, counties cannot prepare their budgets unless there is in existence a Division of Revenue Act.
The mediation on this bill collapsed and it is not possible to table the county allocation of revenue bill before the Division of Revenue Bill is debated and enacted. Further, the National Assembly republished the disputed bill, which had allocated 291 billion shillings to the counties.
Should we not be asking ourselves whether such a critical legislation, which has to be passed every year, should be subjected to the vagaries of mediation? Because mediation under the Constitution, Article 113, entails that if after 30 days there is no an agreed version of the bill fails. But can we afford really to have the Division of Revenue Bill? Because we all come from counties.
The Council of Governors has confirmed that indeed the National Treasury has disbursed funds to counties as late as last week. However, these are March allocations being released in May. The county governments now say such delays have continued to recur, thereby compelling them to borrow from local banks to mitigate effects of the shortages. Collectively, county governments are yet to receive disbursements for the fourth quarter beginning April 2017 and totaling 74.7 billion shillings of the equitable share of revenue. The county governments claim they have been unable to meet their contractual obligations both on investment and on employment. For instance, there are cases where county government workers have taken industrial action due to delayed salaries. The Council of Governors is now asking the National Treasury to comply with the law. Ellen Wanjiru, KTN News.
Residents of Mandera County can now breathe a sigh of relief after receiving a major boost in the maternal health sector from Mahadi Kenya and Lotto Foundation. The county received 6 ambulances and a number of food items.
For a county known to have the highest mortality rate in maternal health, the donation by the Lotto Foundation, together with the Mahadi Kenya of 6 ambulance machinani and food items to the residents, is expected to reduce the number of women losing their lives during childbirth. The county woman rep received the donation, citing the problems the local residents have faced in the health sector.
Highest mortality rate, wamama wengi wanakufa wakati wakiwa kwa leba. Na hiyo ni kwa sababu ya uchangao mwingi, kama hakuna hospitali karibu ama hata hakuna namna au gari ya kuwapeleka kwa hiyo dispensary ama hospitali.
Dr. Stanley Kamau from Ahadi Foundation cited the importance of the ambulances in the area that will boost emergency responses.
Tumewaletea ambulance mashinani. Ambulance mashinani inaweza ingia kila pahali popote, inaweza penya njia zote katika kaunti hii. Na kama vile tumeongea na yeye, leo tumekuja na ambulance mashinani 6.
The locals also benefited from a food distribution exercise intended to counter the effects of drought in the county. Over 2,000 households in the area benefited from the food aid. Fathia Mohammed Noor, KTN News.
We thank you for staying with us here on Weekend Prime. We're taking a break, but we still have sports coming right up. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll tell you about that poor start that Shujaa had the London Sevens earlier today. So that and much more coming up.